Running Man is known for its comedy and vigorous race missions and name tag elimination. It's very rare that we see the vulnerable and sentimental side of the Running Man members, and when we do, it's very heartbreaking. Here are the top 10 emotional moments on Running Man. In late 2016, news outlets had reported that Song Ji-ho and Kim Jong-kook were to be fired from the show, which shocked the crew, the Running Man members, and even Ji-ho and Kook, who were unaware of any of this. After learning about it from the media, all the members got together and decided as a team to not go forward with the show if it wasn't for the entire cast, so it was to be cancelled at the start of the next year. For the final weeks leading up to the cancellation, the show introduced Members Week, which fulfilled a wish the member had for the episode. For week 3, it was Ji Suk-jin's special. In a previous special, Ji-ho asked Suk-jin if he was to remarry his wife in his next life, and the lie detector indicated that he would. He hadn't done any sort of romantic gestures for his wife recently, so this episode helped focus on renewing his marriage vows. In the episode, the members are stuck in prison, execute a thrilling prison escape, and finally make it to the venue for the renewal of the vows. The most emotional part was Suk-jin's wife, Ryu Soo-jung, prepared a letter for her husband. She mentioned how he protects the family from difficulties, how he's always there for her when she needs him the most, and that he'll always be her lifelong best friend. While hearing this, you can see Suk-jin's gaze, trying to hold back his tears, but it's very obvious from how red and swollen his eyes have become. This might be the only time where we've seen Suk-jin on the verge of crying. In this episode, the members had to face against 300 university students and try to eliminate as many as possible. One mission was a couples game that included Ji-ho and Gary, which they had to form an airplane, with one person lying down and holding their partner up with their feet. At the sound of the whistle, the person laying down will bend their legs up and down. Even though the game had no end in sight, Gary and Ji-ho managed to go the full distance. Countless numbers of couples reached their limit and got eliminated. You could see on their faces the amount of stress and pain Gary and Ji-ho both had to endure. There were even a few instances of Gary asking Ji-ho if she was okay, since there was a lot of pressure against her stomach. After reaching the end, Ji-ho hunches down into a ball and holds her head from all the pain and exhaustion, with Gary slowly sitting up and giving her a hug. For week 5 of Members Week, it was Haha's turn to be in the spotlight. Since he's very indecisive in making choices, it was an episode where he had to make tough decisions. Haha was to rescue each member from something they feared, and the longer he took, the worse the punishment got. Near the end of the episode, Haha had to make the difficult decision of allowing 3 Running Man members, Jae-suk, Suk-jin, and Ji-ho, to face punishment of bungee jumping, or take the punishment solely by himself. Haha makes the valiant decision to take the fall for his team. When he finally reaches the top and is about to jump, the PD stops him and presents to him a video. In a turn of events, the bungee jump was a distraction so that the members could plan a surprise party for the soon-to-be birth of his second child. As the elevator goes back down, Haha watches with tears a video of the members congratulating him. This came as a surprise because it was only mentioned at the very end of the episode very abruptly. Song Joong-ki was balancing a lot on his plate, filming TV dramas and shooting Running Man at the same time, so he had to make the difficult decision to leave the show. It's very unfortunate because he was slowly starting to create a character for himself, as someone who is overconfident, Kwang-soo's rival, and Gary's rival for Ji-ho's heart. It was very emotional as Joong-ki tried to say his final goodbyes as tears rolled down his face, which we also see Ji-ho and Kwang-soo's eyes brimming with tears as well. For the start of Members Week, Ji-ho wanted to go on a trip with the members and have a barbecue and a campfire. Halfway through the episode was the highlight of the trip, the campfire, which they played the game I'm sorry, I'm thankful, I love you. They are to express their feelings to one another while wearing a contraption of glasses that are fixed together, so you remain close eye contact with the other person. Some affectionate segments was when Ji-ho was conversing with Haha. She mentioned about an episode where they shot in Dongbek Island and she wasn't communicating well with the other members and didn't know how to talk to everyone, so she isolated herself. When she came across Haha and apologized, he said that she had nothing to worry about. When it was Haha's turn to talk, he apologized that since she's the only female Running Man member, it's difficult for the male members to take care of her, and sometimes they're insensitive to her feelings. Kwang-soo thanked her for always being there for him, like when he moved out, she got him a housewarming gift. Jiho mentioned that she was grateful when she left home arguing with her mom. Kwang-soo offered her a place to stay since she had nowhere to go. And finally, Seok-jin mentioned that it always bothered him and the rest of the Running Man members that when an actress comes on the show, they would say stuff like how unattractive Jiho was, but they only said that to be funny. They hoped that she knew they were joking and that they love her like family. The members are locked in a room for 24 hours unless they complete a mission unanimously. It's not until 10 hours later that they come across a 1 vs 6 mission in which they choose Yoo Jae-suk to be the one member to skip rope, but the number he stops at must be the same number the members have chosen secretly. There were a lot of numbers he could have stopped at. 1, because they're one as a team, 5, because they've been doing the show for 5 years, and many other numbers, but the number Jae-suk and the members chose was 7, which represents the 7 members of Running Man. The flashback of montages of the members throughout the 5 years was very emotional, and really warms your heart to see this cast persevere through so much as we watch them grow as a family. The episode ends with the members throwing Jae-suk in the air in celebration and being all choked up with emotions. In the episode, the members try to make rights to the wrongs they have committed to previous guests on Running Man as an apology. As the last apology service, the members must apologize to each other. It gets very deep when we learn about how members feel about each other and the struggles they go through. Cook talks about how each member has a role to play, and his is a very aggressive character and sort of plays as the villain, which can get very lonely. Sometimes he knows he goes too far, but he has to do it for the sake of the show. Also, he's getting older. His body aches, and he can't do the same thing he could do in the early years of Running Man, so he feels awful that he can't fulfill his role on the show. Jiho tells Kwang-soo that she's grateful for him because she questioned her place on the show, and in the beginning, she couldn't communicate with the other members. She used to cry a lot thinking about it, and she told him that she wanted to quit, but Kwang-soo was always there to support her and listen to her problems. Kwang-soo shared he felt bad how rude he acts towards her on the show. He wants to do his best and work hard, but it's challenging when you hurt people you care about. Seok-jin shares that there was a time when he felt he didn't fit well with the other Running Man members and talked to the producers several times about quitting. He used to blame it on everyone else and not himself. Whenever a member would tease him, he would take it to heart and get easily offended, and because of that, he couldn't become a comfortable friend or colleague. Gary mentions how he consistently thinks that it's the end for him as a musician. He didn't feel serious about his craft anymore and it burdened him. He had thoughts of quitting many times thinking it was the best for himself and for the show. Jae-suk gives him an analogy of kids playing in the playground, that when you grow older, you can't play in the same place forever. It won't be fun anymore. Which, this hits hard because we know that 29 episodes later, Gary leaves the show. All these moments and many others in the episode, we feel empathy with each member. The fact that they feel terrible on how they treat other members for the sake of the show, and the thoughts of quitting numerous times. I'm thankful they stuck it out together all these years and relied on one another to persevere. In the finale of the 9-year anniversary special, the members performed their dance routine taught by 1 Million Dance Studios' Leah Kim, which they trained rigorously for 3 months. After successfully executing the performance flawlessly, the crowd erupts with applause and screams. Jae-suk and Seok-jin speak on the mic for a bit and then pass it on to Jiho for her comments. With how emotional it was to finally perform a routine you've been working so hard on, to stand on a stage with a show that's been your family for 9 years, and standing in front of the supporting fans who made the show what it is today, Jiho was overwhelmed with emotion and she had to turn her back to the stage in order to hide her tears. When she finally composes herself, she's speechless, and the only words that came out are, "Thank you," a comment that packs a lot of meaning. The goal of the episode was to beat the production staff in certain missions, and the most emotional one was the second mission, building a cardboard boat to cross the Han River. The teams broke off into two. The first team, Jiho, Haha, Seok-jin in one boat, and the second team, Jae-suk, Kwang-soo, Gary, and Cook in the other boat. The first team cleared the mission by making it to their destination in under 30-minute time limit. You could see on their faces how tired they were from continuously rowing and the look of accomplishment and triumph as tears filled their eyes when they found out they succeeded. It was also very emotional when the second team arrived. Having fallen in the river so many times, and with all of them shivering and pale in the face from the ice-cold waters, it wasn't so much that the second team didn't complete their mission, but the fact that they kept on rowing the whole time without ever giving up. After being 7 years on the show, Kang Gary finally calls it quits. Near the end of the episode, the production staff presented him with a name tag made out of gold, along with a mosaic of himself compiled of every episode he was on. As they gave him the final applauses, Seokjin asks Jiho to say something since they spent the most time together as the Monday couple. As she tries to speak, she turns around to hide her tears. Later, as Gary's putting back the items the members stole from his place early in the episode for a mission, he reads out letters the members wrote to him. Some emotional letters were Haha's, which he recalls the earlier days of Running Man, where both of them would spend nights along the Han River praying for the show to do well. Haha also wishes Gary to have a wonderful family and marriage, which we know now he has accomplished. Jiho wrote that she was upset and cried when she heard the news of him leaving, but realizes how he must have felt for making such a hard decision of leaving. She ends with saying that no one can fill his place on the show. The final seconds of the episode, we hear Gary speaking to the camera of how he was just a singer that no one knew, but that changed thanks to Running Man. He appreciates all the supporting fans throughout the years and promises he'll do his best moving forward. So, that was the list. Was there any emotional parts that you can think of that wasn't mentioned? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.